baby, I'm a boss.
Who's the boss, of course?
Mr. Talk 718.
Only one in charge.
Now that's the boss.
I'm a boss. I call the shots.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing out there tonight? Yes, it's me, Mr. Talk 718, and I have another serious topic, and we're going to get into it. The name of this is called Breaking the Cycles of Abuse, Understanding, Coping, and Overcoming. That's simple. We're going to discuss the 3 different types of abuse. Welcome to Talk Life Media, where we discuss important topics related to mental health and well-being. Today, we're going to be talking about the psychological effects. We're going to be talking about the psychological effects of verbal, mental, and physical abuse. This is a serious and often overlooked topic, and we're here to raise awareness and provide helpful information to those who may be going through it. Definition of verbal, mental, and physical abuse. Verbal abuse is a form of emotional abuse that involves the use of words to attack, demean, or control another person. It can include name-calling, insulting, threatening, and other forms of verbal aggression. Who hasn't been there? Have you ever been to work and your boss called you lazy, but you bust your ass all day? Or you're with your lover or your friend, and they got jokes, they saying mean things to you? That's verbal abuse. That is verbal abuse. Mental abuse is something else. Mental abuse is also known as psychological abuse. It is a form of abuse that involves manipulating or controlling a person's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It can include gaslighting, mind games, manipulation, and other forms of psychological manipulation. We've been in that situation before too. Just think about this, ladies. Have you ever been with a man who tried to tell you something, and then later on he come and tell you something else, and then he say that the first thing he said he never said, but he said this? Or brothers, have you ever been in a situation where it's the same thing? Like, you're in a relationship with someone, and they turn around and they tell you one thing, and then you do it, and they come back to you, and they're like, "Well, who told you to do that? I never told you to do that. I told you to do this." That's a form of mental abuse, because they're trying to confuse you. It's something to make you feel like you're wrong, or in other words, a mind game, manipulation. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of sick. Then you have physical abuse. Physical abuse is a form of abuse that involves the use of physical force to hurt or control another person. It can include hitting, slapping, punching, kicking, and other forms of physical violence. The effects of verbal abuse, mental and physical abuse, can be severe and long-lasting. Verbal abuse can cause the victim to feel worthless, and the mental abuse can cause the victim to doubt their own sanity. Physical abuse can lead to physical injuries and chronic pain. The effects of abuse can also be long-lasting and can continue even after the abuse has ended. Studies have shown that individuals who have experienced abuse have a higher risk of developing mental health conditions such as post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety. I have a few examples of famous people who have suffered from abuse. Unfortunately, many famous people have suffered from verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. For example, the singer Rihanna. We all know Riri, bad gal Riri. She has spoken publicly about the physical abuse she suffered at the hands of her ex-boyfriend, Chris Brown. They have forgiven each other. They have made up. So that's just a disclaimer to let everybody know they have made up. She has forgiven him, and he has forgiven her for whatever role each other played in this form of abuse. Similarly, the actor Evan Raquel Wood has spoken about the sexual and emotional abuse she suffered in a previous relationship. It's important to note that abuse doesn't discriminate and can happen to anyone, regardless of their fame or status. So that means money can't stop you from the same issues and the same drama that most people go through in life. So if you think money is going to make it better, sometimes it can make it worse. Here are a few solutions to overcome abuse. If you're someone, if you or someone you know is going through abuse, it's important to know that there is help available. Here are some steps you can take. One, reach out for support. You can talk to friends, family, or professional counselors, or even a therapist. I've my first video of the year. I have given you guys that's out in Philly that's watching a good connection. So go back to the first video that I did for 2023, and you'll see, you know, my sister over there. She's out there doing big things, helping the community, helping people heal, not just Black people, but everybody. Right. Two, you have to create a safety plan. If you're in a situation, especially if it's a physical abuse type of relationship or friendship, you should always have a safety plan. This should include a plan for how to leave the situation, a list of emergency contacts, and a safe place to go. Work on building self esteem and self worth. There's a lot of people out there that believe that they are not worth the person that they're dealing with, so they allow themselves to be abused. But you are worth it. And I want you to also understand that feel good about yourself all the time. You can build these things through therapy or writing it down in a book, journaling, and positive self talk. So you can say to yourself on a daily basis, I am worth it, or I am good, or I am beautiful. You know what I mean? You don't have to seek validation from anyone but yourself. If it's physical, you can also, again, getting back to the physical, because a lot of abuse start with mental and it ends up physical. So if you're in a physically abusive relationship, seek medical attention for any physical injuries. Consult with a professional who can help you assess the situation and come up with a plan for safety. And remember that the recovery from abuse is possible and that it's important to be kind to yourself throughout the process. And for all those who's out there that is suffering from a form of abuse, we have several numbers. One number is for the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That would be 1-800-799-7233. The second one is National Child Abuse Hotline. That's 1-800-4-A-CHILD. That is 1-800-422-4453. If it's sexual assault, that's also a form of abuse. That would be the National Sexual Assault Hotline. That is 1-800-656-HOPE. Again, 1-800-656-4673. And this is the most dramatic part, because when people go through those types of abuse, they go through a lot of depression, and some depression could be depression that will lead up to suicide. So here's the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That is 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-8255. Abuse is a serious issue that affects many people, but it is important to know. I want y'all to know that we've all have suffered some form of abuse. Some don't really know what type of abuse, because they just don't know what abuse is. I'm hoping and praying that this brief little video has given you a little insight and knowledge on what abuse is actually and how to get through the abuse. One thing I want you also to remember, at any time, if you feel a way, reach out and touch someone. If it's a friend, a priest, a counselor, a therapist, reach out to someone that you can trust. And like always, this is Mr. Talk 718. And I just want to say, before I press that button to tell you who I am, I'm the boss. But I want to tell you guys, I want to big up Talk Life Media, Talk Life Radio, and I also want to big up the family and friends. The family and friends is a special group of people. Within this year, we will be doing and making strides to reach out to the community. And that is the ultimate goal of the family and friends. So big up to my Instagram family and friends for making the family and friends possible. I am a co-founder, and I am the owner and operator of Talk Life Media. I want to say thank you, everyone, for listening. God bless.
You see the boss grinning.
This is the boss of the business,
I'm the biggest boss that you've seen thus far.
Mr. Talk 718.
Well, I'm the boss. Head honcho. El numero uno.